Bam, guys, welcome to the Wulff Den podcast.
Look at that.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Just a regular episode of the Wulff Den podcast.
Not anything could go wrong.
Nope.
Here.
Standard ass episode. I am not sitting in the Hannah seat. I am in my regular seat.
Wow. All right. So here's what had happened was I completely redid the podcast room. Very proud of myself. I got an old new computer. Got a new capture card for everything. One capture card. Everything funneled through that. Everything's going great. Realized today all the cameras are delayed. And I could not get the sync good. And then when I finally did get the sync good, it was choppy and bad. So something's terribly wrong. I will note that it is an Intel Arc GPU. The first Intel Arc GPU.
Well, there's your problem.
I thought it would be fine. Their drivers got better, but I don't know. We'll see. I also want to try to play Indiana Jones on that.
Ooh.
Because it runs okay on the MSI Claw, which is Intel Arc.
Okay. That's good to know.
But anyway.
Allegedly, it's not Steam Deck compatible.
It is not.
So we'll put that to the test.
Somebody told me it wouldn't play on AMD handhelds, but it does. It plays on the Ally X.
Yeah, I think the Steam Deck is not... The specs are not high enough to properly run it.
It has no ray tracing.
Yes.
Is what they call it.
Yes.
Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Sorry we're a little late. We rain or shine, though, is what the saying. So we're going to do what we can here. The main topic of today is Xbox. More rumors about their handheld.
Yes. This is a big one. This might be the big one.
This might be the big one. Also, what else do we have? I didn't put it here because I was a little crazy. Oh, you did. Retroid. I want to bring that all the way to the top. We're going to talk about
a big one.
Retroids. They got. Wouldn't you believe that they have manufacturing issues?
No.
Once again, and their what do you call it? Their return policy is so bad that their PR guy quit. And then there's a bunch of other stuff we got to talk about. But before we get into any of that, new Switch Online game.
Yes. Available now for the Switch Online for the Game Boy Collection. The 1994 re-release of Donkey Kong and Mario's Picross.
Picross. No, you did it.
Did it first try. Yeah. So real quick, just two games added to Switch Online for the Game Boy, the original Game Boy Collection. 1994 Donkey Kong. Classic game. I love this game. Such a good game. If you don't know, it starts off as a remake of the arcade Donkey Kong, and then after the fourth level, it turns into a puzzle platformer with really interesting puzzles and enemy variants. It is the precursor to the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series of games. So if you like those games, definitely check this one out.
What makes you say it's the precursor? Just because it has new levels?
Well, yeah, all the new levels are in the same vein as the Mario vs. Donkey Kong levels.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by it's the precursor.
And then you got Mario Picross.
Yes. How do you not get this game? You just
Really?
chip away at things until you hit next, and you just keep chipping away.
Okay.
Sure. I guess you have to do it within a time limit. Cool. Play Donkey Kong.
I guess I haven't played a Picross game.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway.
There you go. Check it out.
I used to play this at the dentist. Nightmares of 4 batteries are flooding back. You would go to the Donkey Kong was your dentist game?
I mean, I guess any game can be your dentist game.
Last time I went to get a colonoscopy, I played my play date.
Okay.
And now I associate that with
It is forever your colonoscopy game.
All right. Anyway, Darwinia, thank you for the 2 months. Good God, I forgot to update my Prime sub and got 6 ads back to back to back. Well, I'm glad you fixed that.
Yeah. And over on YouTube, we got Chelsea with the 5 Canadian loonies. Wanted to toss some coin in honor of my birthday today. Oh, happy birthday. Thank you guys for what you do and giving me something to look forward to week after week.
And Trash Panda, thanks for the Prime. All right. Moving on.
Yes.
let's get right into the main topic here. Xbox now has, or well, I guess, what was the last time we talked about Xbox as handheld?
I feel like anytime we talk about Xbox as handheld, it's always in this vague notion of Microsoft wants to make a handheld. You know, Phil Spencer has talked about how much he loves the ROG Ally and the Lenovo Legion Go, and he says Xbox should get in this game. Well, now Xbox is getting into the game. Windows Central reported on Monday that Microsoft will be debuting a handheld gaming device in 2025 if plans are met, their quotes, with hardware that's being developed by a partner, something akin to Valve's partnership with Lenovo to bring SteamOS to the Legion Go S. Microsoft's own proprietary handheld is still in the works, according to Windows Central, and is expected to be years away, reportedly part of the corporation's next generation plans for 2027, alongside the Xbox Series X successor. Polygon has not independently confirmed the launch of an Xbox handheld either this year or in 2027, but they've reached out to Microsoft for comment. The reported 2025 partner handheld is codenamed Keenan, per Windows Central, and will look unmistakably Xbox, complete with an official Xbox guide button and Xbox design sensibilities. Details, however, are slim, leaving lots of questions on what exactly the handheld is or could be. Is this a reskinned iteration on the Asus ROG Ally, Lenovo Legion Go, or another handheld? Is it something more uniquely Xbox? These are the questions still in the air. So to summarize, the rumor is not that Microsoft is making a handheld, it's that they are partnering with a third-party manufacturer, either Asus or Lenovo or someone else, to make an Xbox-specific, Xbox-branded handheld.
Yeah, the big deal is that I mean we have a lot of PC handhelds, and they're all kind of portable Xboxes. And Phil Spencer has been behind all of them pretty much. He was behind the Ally. He was behind the Logitech G Cloud.
That's I remember. Yeah.
That was the first one.
Yeah,
because that was like the first big, like peripheral manufacturer, or I guess the first big name to put out a gaming handheld that wasn't Valve. Yeah. So that being a Game Pass machine was really enticing to Phil Spencer and the rest of Xbox. So they backed that. And then the ROG Ally, I guess, was next. There was the Razer Edge, but nobody really cared about that. The ROG Ally came out, and Phil Spencer was also behind that too. He wasn't backing it as much as he did the G Cloud, but he was still playing it and talking about it. Now, they did the same with Lenovo. And they did the same. Currently, the Lenovo Legion Go S, there's some Game Pass coercion there. Yeah. So Microsoft has been behind. They've been backing a lot of these gaming handhelds because they know that people are going to get Game Pass with them, and that's going to be the best way to play these games. Or it'll be a really good way for people to get their Xbox games out of it. The next logical step is Xbox or Microsoft just making their own machine. Yeah. But Microsoft doesn't really make hardware. They have some stuff. Yeah. Like computers. They have some stuff.
They have computers. They do make Xbox boxes, as it were, but like they're primarily a software company.
Yeah. And so they're probably going to do what they do with their computers. Like partner with somebody else, have them do it.
Which I think makes sense. But I think the question here is, Phil was always talking about doing an Xbox specific handheld, and so far up to now, all the handhelds that have come out, aside from the Steam Deck, have just been Windows PCs with controllers glued to them, and the Xbox gaming app that comes with PCs has a quote-unquote handheld mode. And so I'm assuming that whatever handheld this is that's coming out, whoever it's made by, is essentially just going to be that. Yeah. With, instead of launching into like a Armory Crate or the Lenovo equivalent, it's going to launch into the Xbox.
That's what I'm most interested in. Yeah. Is this going to be Windows, or is it going to be an Xbox? And if it is Windows, will I be able to get this front end on my computer that's in front of us right now? Like, will I be able to get it on the Ally X that I already have? Probably. I mean, we know that Microsoft has been working on front end for these gaming handhelds, or even like a living room PC to be able to navigate Windows with a controller. There was a PowerPoint presentation like 2 years ago of somebody internally at Microsoft trying to pitch like it was like some sort of like game jam type thing. They were like, we should be working on front end for our gaming for Xbox for Windows gaming. We should be working on a front end so you can navigate with a controller easier. So I bet since then they were working on that. It's been taking a long time, and a lot of third-party companies have made a lot more leeway with it. They've gotten a lot farther with it. For some reason, YouTube crashes on this computer. I don't know why. I think it's hardware acceleration or something. So yeah, and even Valve right now is the best at having a good UI for PC games. The controller just works in Steam Big Picture mode. It's like the easiest way to have a living room PC is to just allow Steam to open in Big Picture mode.
I would imagine that this rumored handheld most likely will just be a Windows PC that has an Xbox specific launcher embedded in it, because Microsoft is really leaning into the whole everything is an Xbox mantra. And at this point, the easiest thing to do would just be to launch a gaming handheld that already runs Windows and is optimized for the Xbox app that's already built into it. So you can cloud stream your games, so that you can play Windows specific games on it, things like that.
They would probably want to limit the storefront. Like if it's going to like open up into Windows or into Game Pass or whatever, they're going to want to like kind of funnel you into their own storefront so that you have to buy games through them. That way they can sell it for Steam Deck prices.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Get money on the back end through the Game Pass
because like, what's a Series S? Like $300 usually without a discount?
Yeah.
So if they were to make a portable Xbox, it would have to be at least Series S quality.
Yeah.
Plus a screen. That's like going to be an extra $200 on the price tag. And then now you're putting into Series X territory, so they might want to wait until the next generation to do a proper Xbox handheld, so that they can get the good prices and whatnot.
I wonder who's going to make it, because they have good relationships with all these manufacturers. So it could be literally anybody.
Well, Lenovo is specifically partnering with Valve, so I'd imagine they're out.
That is
I can't imagine them doing with MSI. So Asus maybe? Like the big names aside from Valve, it's like Asus, MSI, and Lenovo.
Yeah, Asus, they might have been in talks with them pretty early because they were the first in the market with a handheld. I can't imagine MSI. They have a really close deal with Intel, and they're like the only ones. I don't know how much Microsoft's like pretty sure the Xbox is AMD, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm not sure. I think Asus would be the most logical. It could be Logitech.
Yeah.
I mean, not Logitech. Lenovo.
Yeah.
It could be Lenovo. Even though they're partnered with Valve, they could be double dipping. But
or is it another company that hasn't dipped their toes in yet?
I don't know.
What other laptop makers are there? HP?
Yeah, HP. Well, they have what's the gaming line that they have? HP. It's not Pavilion.
No.
HP has their own.
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, they all do. Dell has Alienware.
It could be Dell.
Yeah.
I doubt it. It's probably going to, if I had to put money on it, it would be Asus.
Yeah.
Because we have no idea what the Ally 2 is at all. And that should be this year. But we haven't heard any rumors or anything. We know that Lenovo is coming out with the Legion Go 2 this year. But we haven't heard a single thing about the Ally 2. So this could just be the Ally 2. Omen is the...
Victus. HP Victus, yeah.
Oh, people are saying Omen.
There's
Omen and Victus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two people wrote Victims, and I'm like, HP Victims? That doesn't sound like a gaming line. Yeah, there's HP Victus. I guess HP. Okay, I guess there's two. Omen gaming laptop.
Oh, Omen is gaming. Okay.
Yeah. Victus is so is Victus. So what's the difference?
Is Victus desktop? No.
No, because there's also Victus laptops. Okay, so they have two. HP's got two.
I don't see Dell or HP dipping into handhelds, honestly. I if I had to put money down, I would say Asus. And that would be a damn good deal for them. And we've talked before about how these handhelds are not a big market at all.
Yeah.
Collectively, of all of them, besides the Steam Deck, they got 1 million sold?
Something like that, yeah.
Which is like nothing.
Yeah.
So if anybody partners with Microsoft on this, it will sell way more than they ever could have sold by themselves. It's going to be IBM. All right, good luck.
Yeah.
Well, then they can use the little nipple.
No, Lenovo owns the nipple now.
All right. Well, there's no reason not to do that then. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Drew P. Balls. Thanks.
I get it.
Get it. Thanks for the $2. Hello, Will and Bob. Hope all is well. Thank you. All is well. Thank you so much. All right. We might as well move on to the next news here.
Okay. Omen is premium gaming and Victus is everyday gaming.
Every day.
So it honestly might be if it's going to be an HP, I'm sticking with HP. That's going to be my bet. If they're going to do a handheld, it would probably be Victus because that seems like a little less, hardware intensive and make more sense in a handheld.
I'm putting my money on Asus.
All right.
Asus is my bet. It's like 5 million collectively if you include the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
The Steam Deck got 2, I think, million.
Three.
Yeah. The Steam Deck was 3. And I think in all it was 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on. Let's talk about Retroid real quick.
All right.
And then we'll do the backlog.
The Retroid Pocket Mini has an unfixable issue that's causing certain graphical effects for emulated games not to work properly.
This is a Verge article.
Yes. That's how you know it's a big deal.
This is serious.
A real website is covering it. Retroid, the China-based company that makes the Pocket Mini, announced on Discord that it will accept returns of the device, but only during a limited March 8th to March 14th window and capped at just 200 returns from owners who live outside of China, as Retro Handhelds reports. Earlier in the week, the outlet says Retroid acknowledged it couldn't fix the issue, which affects how the screen shows scanline and pixel grid shaders used to give classic emulated games the appearance of being played on CRT displays they were designed for. The effect can show up as a misplaced scan lines, uneven pixels, or slightly distorted images. In Saturday's message, Retroid says carrying out this return campaign is a large and costly endeavor and that it expects a lot of return requests outside of the screen-related issues. Retroid also mentions it is asking customers to pay to ship their returns, which it promises to reimburse. Finally, the company added that it will offer all Pocket Mini owners a $10 stackable coupon for 2 of its future handhelds.
So I can't say that I'm surprised at all because Retroid has always had manufacturing issues. This is not new for them at all. The very first, so Retroid, they make pretty powerful gaming handhelds or retro handhelds that emulate things very well. They're kind of the easiest to recommend because of how cheap they are and because of how powerful they are, especially if you want to play GameCube and PS2 games and up, even Switch games. They're the cheapest ones that you can get. But they're cheap because they're not manufactured very well. The very first issue that I had with them was the Retroid Pocket 3. So that came out, and almost immediately after the 3 came out, they launched the 3 Plus because the 3 had so many manufacturing issues. They just decided, forget it, we're going to release another one. So they fulfilled the pre-orders, gave them the shitty version, and then just made the 3 Plus. They also shipped, I don't remember if it was the 3 or the 3 Plus, but they shipped one of them with extra button boards because they knew that the button boards were bad. So they said, if you have an issue, just put these button boards. You had to open it up yourself. Imagine if a Nintendo Switch came with a Joy-Con PCB and they were like, open it up and you do it. We fucked it up, you do it.
Your problem now.
Yeah, that's insane. So Other manufacturing issues include the Retroid Pocket Flip. The hinge is just horrible, and a lot of people had theirs cracking and breaking. There was an issue with the 4, but I don't remember. I had my issue with I don't know if it was the 3 or the 3 Plus, but I had an issue where the power button got stuck, and it's got stuck in the down position, and that was the end of it. Apparently, that's part of the board that you're supposed to put in yourself. And now the Pocket Mini. I just generally think that this is a device that shouldn't exist. Like, it doesn't make any sense why they even made it. It's like almost the same price as the 5, which is a full-size screen and a higher resolution and looks nicer. That's another thing. When the Pocket Mini came out, the orange color was just the wrong color. It just shipped as the wrong color. So they fulfilled. They did have a window of returns for that, and they also gave people a coupon. That's their fun thing. They like to give coupons whenever they mess up. This is me talking about. This is my review of the 2 handhelds. I did a review of both. I'm pretty sure I talk about the scaling issues in this. I don't know where I talk about the scaling issues, but I'm pretty sure I played a Game Boy game and saw that the scaling was really obvious.
Scaling or scan lines?
So the screen is 960 across or something. But there's something wrong with the chip that's in there that scales it to 928 or something. Okay. So it's just a little wrong. So when these emulators try to scale up, they can't be pixel perfect because the pixel ratio is fucked. So when it's not that bad when you're trying to play something like Sunshine, but if you add a CRT filter, which have to be very pixel perfect to get the scan lines, like for example, you know how the Analog Pocket has the grids? Yeah, it has the grids because it can pixel perfect put grids where they should be. Yeah. If you try to put those grids, Retro Game Course shows this in his video. If you try to put grids for Game Boy, they'll be all fucked. They'll look all weird. And I'm pretty sure I did that in my video, but I can't find the part where I did that. But yeah, so it makes the Pocket Mini impossible to recommend. Yeah. The big issue is that they marketed it as being one resolution when it's not, and it's so not that it breaks the thing that it's trying to do, and that's scale. It's a 4x3 console, so it's trying to scale retro games perfectly. That's the whole reason you would get this, is that the screen is square or 4x3 so that they'll scale perfectly, and they don't. So the whole reason you get this over the 5 is because the screen is 4x3, but games aren't going to scale good on that 4x3 screen, so the whole thing's useless. So they fucked up. And their PR guy, it's a guy that lives here in the States, and I don't know exactly what his relationship is to the company. I really think he's just a fan that was really into the Discord, and then just got in good with them and became the head of the Discord mod, and then he ran all the social medias and stuff. He was the middleman. He was talking to Retroid about all the issues, and then they would give him a statement, and he would come out and tell everybody the statement. They decided to do the refunds, and then they limited it to 200.
Yeah,
somehow.
They only limited it to 200 within a very specific window. You had to
7 days. Yeah. And then now this guy is weirdly in the middle between the fans and this Chinese company that's they're trying not to give anybody any free handouts. Yeah. So he got so much shit that he quit. He had to quit. And I don't blame him, because Retroid seems like a really hard company to work with, because they keep fucking up over and over again.
Yeah, it's it's one thing to release a bad product and acknowledge that you released a bad product or a product with a problem and try to fix it. But it's another thing to botch it this bad. You know, only allowing so many refunds over so many periods of time. You know, not even attempting to fix the issue or offer a replacement of any kind. And then the fact that it happens with every device they put out, it seems like it's amazing that this company is still afloat.
They have a similar issue to what a lot of other retro handheld manufacturers have, but they might have the worst case where they announce something and then they immediately put it out with pre-orders and everything. You got to slow the fuck down and make sure it's good before you send it out. Like if you realize that there's a scaling issue and that the intended purpose of this console is not fulfilled, you got to recall it and fix it.
Yeah.
You're going to lose some money, but that's your fault because you put it out too quickly. You got to make sure that this fucking thing is good. You got to QA test it, give it to people to give you feedback and stuff. You can't just fart things out every couple of months because this is what's going to happen. And every time I get Retroid now, I am incredibly skeptical that it's going to be any good. And this is why.
Yeah.
They have the Flip 2 coming out, which I'm not interested in at all because the internals are the same as the 5, and I didn't like the last Flip, so I don't need another one. They also have, what was the one we talked about last week? Retroid Pocket.
Oh, the classic. Yes, the Game Boy looking one.
Yeah, that one looks cool. We'll probably have something wrong with it, but it looks cool. So,
I mean, maybe that'll be it. Maybe that's their high-end one, because that obviously looks like it's trying to compete with the Mod Retro and the Ambernick.
Yeah.
Not the Ambernick, the Analog Pocket.
Oh, also Ambernick.
And also Ambernick. So maybe that'll be it. Maybe they're like, okay, we messed up all the other ones, but this is the one. This is the one. We're gonna do good.
All right. Per Stubbs and Retro Handheld crew, Chris, the PR guy, was doxxed. I know he was doxxed. We don't need to
dox him any further.
Dox him again. We don't just tell everybody that he was doxxed.
Yeah. Don't dox people.
Yeah.
Unless they work for Doge, then you can dox them.
That's not true. Don't draw a lot of attention to it, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. All right, we can move on. We can do the backlog. Backlog! 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 Hey guys, welcome to the backlog.
The backlog is a segment of the Wulff Den podcast where we go through our entire video game collection. Every game we've ever bought, we put into an Excel spreadsheet, and today we're going to pick one at random to talk about it, regardless of whether or not we've played it. 981 video games across God knows how many systems.
781.
781. I can actually see it this time. 781. That belongs to... hold on. I messed up.
We're all shaking up.
Everybody's... It's a bad day. Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne for the original Xbox. Of all the Max Payne games
for the original Xbox?
Yes. Of all the Max Payne's games to come out, this is the one I have not played.
Really?
Yes. And here's the shitty part about it. I have this on all three systems. I have it on PS2, I have it on Xbox, and I have it on PC.
I can't tell if I played this one or not.
I can tell you for a fact, this is the one I have not played. I played 1, I've played 3, skipped this one.
I don't know if I played this.
You probably haven't, because we didn't have this on PS2 when it came out. We were PS2 kids. We did not have this on PS2.
We were GameCube kids.
We were GameCube kids, and then we became PS2 kids later in the life cycle.
Yeah, when you were old enough to
buy it with my own money. Yeah. So point is, when we got the PS2, we got Max Payne 1. Didn't get Max Payne 2 initially. Got that years later because I wanted to play it. Didn't play it. When I had my gaming PC for the very limited window of time.
Why is there a lot of sex going on?
Because it's a film noir love story, Bob. I'll get to all of that. I'll get to what I know about the game. I'm trying to give everybody the backstory of the backlog. When I had my not my gaming PC, whatchamacallit, my entertainment center PC for a very limited window. I bought the Max Payne trilogy on super duper sale because I'm like, all right, I'll blow through the Max Payne games and I'll start with 2 because I haven't played 2. Didn't do that. And then when they added the Max Payne games to Xbox One backwards compatibility, bought them again with the idea that, like, all right, now I'm playing on my console. I can play the Max Payne 2 on my big TV. And guess what? I still haven't done.
I'm looking at this footage now, and I definitely have not played this one.
My understanding, in terms of like gameplay, it is very similar to what the first game was. It is a third-person shooter, heavy emphasis on the usage of bullet time to slow down the action and help you in fights more accurately. The big thing about the Max Payne games is that they are very story-centric. As you can see from the screen, they use comic book style panels to accentuate its story. Bless you. The full title of the game is Max Payne 2: The Fall of Max Payne, a film noir love story. So my understanding is this tells the story of Max, your main character, having an intimate relationship with Mona Sachs, who was a character from the first game, and now has a bigger role in this. Aside from that, the only other thing I know about this game is that Kevin Conroy, Batman himself, plays one of the characters on like the little TV shows that you can watch in the middle of the game. That's it. That's it.
I vividly remember the first game.
Yeah.
I definitely have never touched this game. And the third game, I think I'm with you. I skipped this game completely. I really liked the first one and the third one.
And from my understanding, like there's nothing wrong with the second game. It's just it looks like it's more of the first game, which is fine with me. I do want to point out though that this is when they started changing Max's face. He no longer looks like Sam Lake.
Yeah, I don't like this at all.
He's still voiced by James McCaffrey though, so he sounds the same. But
the first game, I remember somebody came into GameStop and told me they were stuck in the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, bring in your memory card tomorrow and we'll see what we could do. And he came back in and I set up a PlayStation and I beat the level for him. Meta Ascension says, since when do y'all put games on the backlog list that neither of you have played? Do you listen?
Regardless of whether or not we've played it.
Have you ever bought a game and never played it?
Yeah.
The
what kind of gamer are you?
It's called the backlog.
What kind of gamer are you if you buy a game and don't play it for days on end? I bought 2 games recently. Am I going to play them? I don't know.
We never said this was a good show. This show just happens to sometimes throw a wild one at us.
And this is a wild one. I mean, I'm sure the game is good. I'm sure the game is fine. It's a dated game. It came out in like the early 2000s. So some of the gameplay conventions of then don't hold up as well now. There's no real over the shoulder aiming. That didn't come until like Max Payne 3. The levels are more labyrinthian than they are in modern gaming. There's no cover shooting mechanic in this. But, again, the first one was good. and judging by the gameplay footage of this game, again, looks like more of the same.
It looks pretty much
which
the same,
is fine. I'm okay with that.
I think we have an episode on 3, don't we?
No.
No?
We do not have an episode on any of the Max Payne games.
I really like 3.
Yeah, 3 is very good. And 1 is very good. So there's no reason why 2 should be bad.
Yes. Well, give it a try. Thanks for watching the backlog, everybody. Come to a podcast someday. Hey, we got such a good podcast episode.
We really
this
do.
Time. Bye.
Bye.
Where are we? That's it. Max Payne 2 is probably cheap as chips on Steam.
Probably. I do know that on Xbox at least, it is frequently on sale for like less than $10. So you can get like all 3 games for like $30 on Xbox when they're on sale.
Does Bob dye his beard? No. Dye anything. All right. PlayStation 3 system update. We got one not too long ago too, didn't we?
The PlayStation 3 has received a system software update on March 5th, 2025, 19 years after its 2006 launch. PS3 system software update 4.92 improved system performance according to the vague patch notes, but no other information was provided as to what it does. A snapshot of the update page saved to Internet Archives before the time of publishing indicates update 4.91 was published to the PlayStation 3 on February 27th, 2024. Additional digging into the support website shows that the console system software received an annual upkeep since 2020, sometimes twice a year. Eurogamer's coverage posits that these updates are about maintaining the PS3's ability to play new Blu-rays as the copy protection expires and must renew every 12 to 18 months.
That makes a lot of sense.
So it's interesting how this was a system, remember, that they were going to shut down the store and like possibly end all support for, but because we bitched and moaned enough, they're like, you know what, fine, we'll keep it up, but there are going to be some rules. And it seems like Sony somehow is still maintaining that piece of hardware to allow you to use as a Blu-ray player.
They're weirdly good at keeping the PlayStation 3 alive. Like when they first were moving on to the PS4, they unlocked Bluetooth controller support, so it's like any Bluetooth controller could work.
Yeah.
Or D-input, I guess. D-input support. So yeah, they I mean, a lot of people did buy this thing as a Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
We were guilty of that.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine people are still using it as a Blu-ray player.
Yeah, I mean,
if at the time it was the cheapest Blu-ray player, and maybe you're not a gamer. Maybe you literally just got it for Blu-rays. And
also,
why would you upgrade?
Also, too, let's not forget, a lot of games right now are locked to the PlayStation 3. You can't play them anywhere else. So if there are certain retro games that you want to play and you only have a PlayStation 3, like, it's still a viable option. Mm-hmm. You know, especially if you can find the launch one that plays PlayStation 2 games. I'm still on the hunt for that.
Those are expensive.
They are very expensive.
Yeah, why do you want it?
So we can play PlayStation 2 games.
You have a PlayStation 2.
I know, but I don't. Here's my problem with the PlayStation 2. There's no easy solution for just plugging it into a TV via HDMI. That's my problem right now. Because, like, we have an OSSC, but, like, you got to, like, program it properly.
Yeah.
Soon? Okay. Thank you for the ominous soon. So, yeah, aside from that, the PlayStation 3 is right now the easiest way to connect a PlayStation 2 via HDMI to a TV.
Right.
That's my thing.
Okay. Now, the Xbox 360,
yes,
when that first launched, it did not have an HDMI.
Correct.
But the PlayStation 3 did.
Yes.
Okay.
But they, later iterations of the Xbox 360 added HDMI.
They added it pretty quickly.
Yeah. And Xbox 360 is backwards compatible with like half of the original Xbox library.
Right.
So it's actually a better Xbox emulator than the Xbox One and the Xbox Series is.
Hi, Wolves. Y'all rock.
Thanks.
Mobilus, thanks for the $5. Thanks for being awesome. I always watch this at work in the day, so I'm not going to watch the stream now. In conclusion, Detroit. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you, and see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Sony opens PS5 rental service. Oh, good Lord.
We're over 4 years into the current generation of consoles, which is usually the halfway point. And while Sony is still selling a ton of PS5s, the price of the system means it remains out of reach for many. To help address that, Sony has teamed up with a leasing company, Raylo, to offer a PS5 rental service in the UK via the country's PlayStation Direct website. Leases for all versions of the PS5, including digital, physical, and pro models, are available on 12, 24, or 36-month agreements or a rolling monthly contract.
Leasing?
Leasing, yes. The longer a term you lock in, the lower the monthly price will be. For instance, a 36-month agreement for a PS5 digital edition will cost £11 or $14 American dollars per month. A rolling contract for the PS5 Pro, however, will run you a whopping £35 or $46 American dollars per month. There are also leasing options available for the PlayStation Portal and the PSVR 2. You can cancel at any point, but you'll need to pay a fee if you change your mind before 18 months months have passed, though there is a 14-day grace period.
So 36 months times 14. That is the price of the console.
Yeah, that's something the article does bring up. This might not be economically viable for you.
This is so Gamers Nexus loves to just tear down everybody around him.
He sure does.
He made a whole 45-minute video about NZXT and how they have a leasing service. This is exactly what NZXT did.
Yeah.
So you need to direct your outrage now to Sony because they're doing the same goddamn thing.
Well,
it's a bad service and a bad idea. But it is, the onus is completely on the consumer for this.
I don't.
There's nothing is smoke and mirrors here. They're telling you how much it's going to be, and if you just do a little math, you'll know you're being ripped off.
I think this is a bad idea for long-term usage of the PlayStation 5. The fact that it's limited to 12 months, the lowest you can do is 12 months, and it's the price will be higher because you're doing it for price per month if you do it 12 months. If this was a month by month basis, if you could lease a PlayStation 5 for 2 months just to play Grand Theft Auto when it comes out and then return it, that might be more viable of an option. Or because Xbox does this, lease to own.
Yeah, that's
you pay it off monthly, and then at the end of it, you own it.
I actually did the math wrong. I was comparing it to I was doing the all digital version, which is how much?
£11, I think.
No, it's 14.
$14 a month. Yeah,
you were right.
£11 a month. Yeah.
And that's $504.
Yeah.
In total. So how much is an all digital?
I think it's $400.
Let's see.
$450.
$450.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's more.
Yeah.
I understand if you want to rent it for a year, or if you want to rent it for a month.
Yeah.
I could understand wanting to
or
do that.
if you're running if you're a business and you need it for a party or something.
But the cost needs to be way less.
Yeah.
But locking in to 36 months is you're being robbed.
Yeah.
The lease to own is basically the only way to do something like this. And that's basically just financing.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is not cool. This is not something you should be able to do. And people do it. People will do it. People will fall for it. So I mean, who's the real problem here? Is it the company, or is it the dummies who are falling for it?
I don't know. It's an interesting concept. I'm not against the idea. I'm against the execution of this particular.
Yeah.
Because it also, too, it doesn't say anything about getting a game or PlayStation Plus included with it. Something to sweeten the pot.
You used to be able to rent consoles at Blockbuster.
Yeah.
But it was for a month.
Yeah.
Or a week or something, So it's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
$12.96 for 3 years is insane. Is that even true? Well,
I guess for the Pro, yeah.
If you keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because it's only 36 months, it says. Yeah, NZXT has a very similar situation.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in a lot of heat for that, too. So I'm surprised that they're even doing this.
I mean, I'm not, because, paying things off monthly is, the hot thing with the Zoomers out there.
Paying things off.
Yeah.
Not leasing.
Yeah.
I never returned Majora's Mask. That late fee, it must be crazy. We had a big controversy in our household with WWF Raw for the Sega Genesis.
Left that in the trunk, thought we returned it.
We had that for a year.
Yeah, something like that.
And then we were avoiding Blockbuster because we would have to pay $50.
Luckily, that was back in the day when there was also a Hollywood Video right next door to Blockbuster, and there was
that was our Hollywood Video arc.
Yeah, and there was the In-Town video rental store, Broadway Video, RIP.
All right. Next news. Don't bet on The Last of Us 3.
Despite previously hinting at a potential Last of Us Part 3, game series creative director and co-writer Neil Druckmann is telling fans not to bet on another chapter in the franchise. Speaking with Variety ahead of the second season of HBO's Last of Us TV show, Druckmann gave a not exactly reassuring update to fans eagerly awaiting news about the third game in the series. I guess the only thing I would say is don't bet on there being more Last of Us, Druckmann said when asked about the potential third entry. This could be it. It's quite a different answer from when Druckmann gave one a year ago in the grounded Making The Last of Us Part 2 documentary. In it, Druckmann made The Last of Us Part 3 sound likely. He said at the time there is probably one more chapter to the story, and that for years he had been unable to find a concept for a third game in the series. However, that had recently changed with the idea that Druckmann said would be its very own thing, yet feature a through line that would potentially connect all three games. I don't have a story, Druckmann said in the documentary, but I do have a concept that is, to me, as exciting as Part 1, exciting as Part 2. So something changed between then and now where Neil Druckmann all of a sudden doesn't want to do The Last of Us Part 3.
I know what happened. Last of Us Part 1 came out, unanimously loved across the whole world.
Yeah.
Last of Us Part 2 came out, mostly hated. People did not like it. Then friggin' the show came out.
Uh-huh.
Everyone loves the show. Now it's hit a whole nother completely different audience, even though it's the exact same story. Now they're doing the second part 2 of the show. It's the same story. I think they will just do the third part in the show, and then that's it. Because right now they're working on a whole other game.
Yeah.
Intergalactic,
yeah.
and so they don't have anytime soon. There's no way they're doing a part 3.
Yeah, definitely.
Unless it's a show.
Well, I think the plan is they're going to tell the story of Part 2 over the course of more than one season of the show, which makes sense because that game is fucking long.
It's long, and it has a lot of parts. Like the first game it was just as long, but it had it all felt like one piece.
Yeah,
you know, this one, Part 2 felt disjointed.
Yeah.
Like there was you play the game twice basically.
Yeah, I definitely think you're not wrong in the sense that, you know, he's moved on to the show, and Hollywood is very enticing to these lowly video game makers because, you know, who cares about gamers? Hollywood is where the real fame and fortune is. And also, too, the fact that, you know, they're probably tired of The Last of Us. They want to do something new, so they want to do Intergalactic.
Yeah.
So focus on that for a little bit.
And it's got to be really frustrating to spend all that time on something that you think everyone's going to love, and then they all hate it. And then
I think
and then you're like, well, fuck this. I don't want to do this anymore.
I think time has been kind to Last of Us Part 2. Like, I don't think it's nearly as beloved as the first game.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, as time moved on, as like all like the louder voices have like calmed down or like moved on to other things to be fake mad at, people are less, you know, not mean. What's the word I'm looking for? They're less aggressive towards The Last of Us Part 2 than they were initially. You know, I'm less aggressive to it. I still don't like it as much as the first one, but I think like over time, my opinion on it has softened a little bit. I still think by the end of the game, I'm just like, I don't want to play this anymore. It's just too brutal.
I stopped. I still haven't finished it. I'm excited for the show because maybe I'll finish it.
I mean, look, I've been tempted to play it again. I just don't have like the 30 hours to do it again.
It's a really bad sign when I get to the end of a game and do not finish the end.
Yeah.
That happened with Arkham Knight. I got all the way to the end and I was like, I just don't want to fucking bother with this game anymore. And that happened with The Last of Us. I was just not interested in Abby at all.
See,
and it kind of forces you into it.
I was more interested in Abby. I felt like Abby should have been the whole game.
I would have probably preferred that.
Yeah. You play as this new character and you find out like at a certain point you're being stalked by somebody. You find out, big twist, you're being stalked by Ellie from the first game. What? But I love Ellie. Why is she the bad guy now? And then plot twist, flashback.
That wasn't a twist. That was very obvious.
I'm saying like in my ideal world where you play as Abby, you don't know what's going on, then you find out why Ellie is stalking you, and then you find out why Ellie's stalking you because you killed Joe. Why did you kill Joe? Because she killed your dad. Oh, it goes that way. And you can still do like the brutality. You can still do the, who's the real monster and all that shit.
That's part of what I didn't like was that it all felt so obvious.
Yeah.
If you started as Abby, I feel like it wouldn't have been as bad.
Yeah. Because it would have, if they did like a Kojima thing where they like hold back information, if they had presented it as like a new story with like new characters, like if they pretended it was an anthology series now, we're like, oh, we're going to play these characters over on this side, but don't worry, Joe and Ellie will show up. And then you find out how Joe and Ellie show up. I think that might have been more impactful and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they marketed it as there's a whole new like crew basically.
Yeah.
It feels a lot like Resident Evil 2, how there's the Leon story and the Claire story.
Yeah.
Could have done something with that too.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think killing Joel was a mistake, to be honest. He had to die.
Yeah.
Maybe not so early.
Yeah, that's the thing. And again, like if they had just did the Abby story and you realize it by the end of the game, that's what happened. I think that would have been, and then they could have done DLC where you do a Joel mission like in the last moments of his life. Mm-hmm. See, we should be game designers. We can do this. How hard could it be?
It's got to be very difficult.
Everything I know about like the making of Last of Us games, just as brutal as being in that world.
Yeah. Latest Xbox Insider system update removing user profiles.
Players who signed up to the Xbox Insider program are reporting issues with the latest system update. Participants signed up to the Alpha and Alpha Skip Ahead tiers of the Xbox Insider program, which lets users download system updates before anyone else to help testing and troubleshooting, or having their profiles removed. Video Game Chronicles is signed up for the Alpha tier and can confirm that the same thing happened on their Xbox Series X console. While the latest firmware version was added as an optional download on Wednesday, this became a mandatory download at 6 a.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Greater Mountain Time, Greenwich Mean Time. After the update was downloaded and installed, rather than simply updating the system software and troubleshooting and rebooting the Xbox dashboard as usual, Video Game Chronicles console instead loaded the initial setup procedure that runs when a console is used for the first time. Video Game Chronicles had to add their Xbox profile and sign in again, and following the various other display and account setup steps before they were able to return to the dashboard. At this point, while their previously installed games were still present on the console and hadn't been deleted, all of their other settings, such as wallpaper, system settings, and recently played games and quick resume data, had been removed.
That sucks.
Yeah. I don't know how many people this affects. Like, I don't know how many people are in the Xbox Insider program.
I was at one point, but I might have gotten rid of it because I don't need the beta updates. I might have gotten it to do one feature one time, but I don't like having beta updates.
Yeah, I think that really shows you like the risk of like you're essentially beta testers. You are the one, like if something goes wrong, like you're going to be the ones to figure it out.
This happens with that. Yeah. So I would suggest never doing that unless you're comfortable potentially breaking something.
Yeah, and I know like Apple does the same thing with like, I forgot what they call, but you can get iOS beta.
I did. Yeah. I got iOS beta because I wanted the whole thing where you make the home screen black and white.
Right.
And then the second I did that, it fucked up my Apple CarPlay.
Yeah.
And I had to basically go. Well, actually, I suffered through it until it fixed. But once it fixed itself, I reverted. Once they added the features that I wanted to the public release, I went back to the public release because it's not. You get a lot of other little problems that that are not worth dealing with. Stick to the public release, unless there is one specific feature that you really want. And if you do end up going with the beta test, you are a beta tester and you could end up with issues like this.
I mean, it sounds like it wasn't, I mean, it's not good, but it sounds like the games are still installed that were initially installed, and save data syncs to the cloud automatically. So it could have been worse.
Yeah.
But again, like, you're a beta tester, like, this stuff is going to happen. Hopefully this gets fixed before whatever this was supposed to do gets rolled out to us, the non-beta testers.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
So if you're an Xbox insider and you haven't updated your Xbox, don't. And also consider just not being an Xbox insider.
Yeah.
Death Stranding 2. This trailer looks fucking awesome.
I didn't watch the trailer.
You didn't watch the trailer?
No, I didn't watch the trailer. I don't have 10 minutes and enough peyote to watch it all at once.
Can I spoil a big part of it for you?
The snake?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I know. I saw that.
Fucking, there's a Metal Gear
yes.
and a snake in this. Okay, everybody?
This is the Death Stranding 2 on the Beach will release on June 26th for the PlayStation 5. Game director and Kojima Productions founder Hideo Kojima announced on Sunday during a panel at South by Southwest 2025 with a lengthy new trailer for the game. That was the big reveal, that there is a date for when this will come out, June 26th this year. The trailer offered up a new 10-minute look at Death Stranding 2 and its stars, including some fresh faces as well as what appears to be a handful of nods to Kojima's previous franchise, Metal Gear Solid. Luca Martinelli's character, Neil, looks unmistakably like Solid Snake at one point, with a giant tar creature that fuses with a DHV Magellan, becoming a Magellan Man, Kojima says, giving off Metal Gear Rex vibes. The trailer explains that Death Stranding 2 is set 11 months after the formation of the United States of America. Servers line the beach, and deliveries have been automated, ostensibly putting porters like Sam out of work. Trillium from the beach continues to warp the environment and the cats, just as a new faction is spreading its influence. But none of that, it seems, will stop Sam from doing his job.
So in this, they're explaining that, like, basically he comes from the old America.
Okay.
So he's just Snake.
Yeah.
But I think he might be a bad guy.
It sounds like it.
But then at the end, we also get what looks like just a big Metal Gear mech fight.
Yeah.
This is it. This is when this attaches to this big walking guy. It looks like a Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Obviously, these are not Snake and Metal Gear.
Yes.
But it is pretty damn close.
It's interesting that he's now comfortable explicitly referencing Metal Gear.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'm happy that he is.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that we're getting more of that, what feels like an extension of that world a little bit. I wish that he can go harder with that, but he doesn't have the license anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure there's only so much he can do. Well, we're getting that, like, stealth game he's making.
That is true.
I forgot the name of it.
It would be really interesting if that was just Metal Gear.
Yeah.
He got the license and he just never said anything.
Yeah.
Which is possible.
That is a very Kojima thing to do.
Kojima would surprise everybody with something like that. So, I'm very excited for this game. I didn't get very far on the first one. I do intend to beat it. Now I have until June.
Yeah.
So I will do my best to do that.
One of these days I will maybe boot it up.
Oh, speaking of our Steam family sharing.
Yeah.
I did get Indiana Jones.
I realized that when we were talking about it.
Because I played all of 10 minutes. Because apparently the beginning part is the most power intensive. The like walking through the foliage.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently it's like really taxing on the GPU.
Interesting.
Because it's the most, they pack all, just like every game, they pack all of the cinematic, like, all the rendering they do in the very beginning, so that it looks as good as possible, so that you want to keep playing.
The very beginning of the game is like a one-to-one recreation of the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark, the movie. Mm-hmm. So like they kind of had to make that like as good as possible because they're directly referencing something you can easily turn on a TV and look at, you know. So I guess that makes sense.
The Konami man says, "Did you see that something in the trailer is making some people mad that Kojima is woke now?" No. What is the thing? What could Kojima possibly do to make people think that he's woke?
Was there a gay in it? Because let me tell you something about the Metal Gear games, kids.
The people with no media literacy were complaining that this trailer proves Kojima has gone woke, but I am not sure what part. Okay, well, that's the part. That's what I need. Literally, the whole game is politics.
Yeah.
Every Kojima game has always been political. I do know there is a black woman in the trailer.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
Did it? There's never been a black person in a Kojima game before?
There's never been a black person such as Fortune from Metal Gear Solid 2.
Literally in the first 5 seconds of Metal Gear Solid 1. Anyway. Is there a pronoun man-woman? Okay. All right. FCC following confirmed Switch 2 upgrades. Oh no.
Yes. Do we have the whiteboard?
We'll add it later.
Okay. I'm dying. New Nintendo Switch 2 technical upgrades have been revealed via filings made by the Federal Communications Commission, or the FCC for the kids.
This can't be a rumor because it's an FCC
right
thing.
The filings reveal that the Switch 2 will, like its predecessor, support NFC via the right Joy-Con controller, likely confirming support for amiibo figures when playing original Switch games and Switch 2 software. Switch 2 users will also be able to charge the console using either the bottom USB-C port or the new second one on the top of the device. According to the filings, which were spotted by The Verge, the Switch 2 will also support Wi-Fi 6 with up to 80 megahertz of bandwidth, up from the original Switch's Wi-Fi 5.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi 7 exists, but Wi-Fi 6 is fine.
Yeah.
Notably, I think the portal is 5. So that's only even used via the internet. So Wi-Fi 6 is totally fine.
Yeah. The filings also indicate that the Switch 2 is rated for an AC adapter with a maximum of 15 volts, which is the same as the original Switch, but also mentions an AC adapter that goes up to 20 volts. So it's unclear whether the Switch 2 has faster charging speeds or more power when docked. A previous leak had claimed that Switch 2 dock would require a far more powerful AC adapter than its predecessor, indicating that there may have some more power when docked.
My guess is that my guess is that reading this, it says that the Switch will only be able to do 15 volts.
Yeah.
But you can put one in that does 20 volts, but it'll probably limit it. Also mentions an AC adapter that goes up to 20 volts. That might be specifically just for the dock, and then the dock will limit the voltage that goes to the Switch. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna guess they're gonna use the same charger, which is a little disappointing because it's not power delivery compliant.
Yeah.
So charging it with different types of devices gets a little dicey. I read somewhere that someone said that one of the USB ports might be faster than the other one. In some of these gaming handhelds, one port will be like Thunderbolt and the rest will be like USB-C or something. That doesn't seem to be the case. They're probably all the same. Yeah,
I would imagine like Nintendo's a very like cost-conscious company. So I honestly wouldn't surprise me if they use the same charger as the Switch 1 for like cost efficiency,
and then they don't have to put it in the box.
That's true.
Which would suck.
Yeah,
but they do have to put it in the box because it's not, the fucking thing isn't power delivery compliant, so you can't really just use any.
I feel like they would put it in the box because it's still a home system, and so like they would need something to plug it in immediately when you get it. So yeah, I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's the same charger now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we know a little bit more about
the
Switch, but I mean, this we could have guessed. This sort of stuff.
We also know a little bit more than that because the next article, there's a patent that suggests that voice chat will be integrated at an S level.
Oh, thank
A
God.
recent patent filing by Nintendo strongly suggests that voice chat will be integrated into the Switch 2 operating system, addressing one of the original Switch's biggest oversights. The patent, which was published late last month by Nintendo in the United States, outlines a system for implementing proximity chat in games, just suggesting not only OS voice chat integration for the Switch 2, but also that first-party titles will likely support proximity chat, which could considerably improve multiplayer games like the next entry in Mario Kart series or a new entry in the Splatoon series. Voice chat support directly on the Switch 2 has yet to be confirmed, but it's been speculated over the months that the mysterious new C button on the Joy-Con could have something to do with it.
Communication button.
Yeah. Chat button.
Chat.
Yeah. So looks like that really was a stupid thing that they didn't have like integrated voice chat in the system itself, that you had to use a third part, an app on your phone.
Yeah, that is extremely dumb.
Like, but hey, you know, we're getting there. Nintendo's, maybe one day Nintendo will have a good online system.
I could see their thought process.
Yeah.
Like they want to keep people within their ecosystem in a weird way. Like they don't have a mic on the controller or a way to plug in a mic. So if you're playing on the TV, you having your phone next to you would make a little bit of sense. Mm-hmm. If you're portable, you can still have the same phone, but like realistically, it just does not work that way.
Yeah.
It just ended up being way too cumbersome, especially for a device that has a fucking mic input on it already. Really, they just need a mic in the Joy-Con, and then that'll solve everything.
Yeah.
Or in the Pro Controller. Edward Bova linked us to this. Now they're saying Kojima is going woke. Back when I was a fanboy, now I've the sad ability to be unbiased towards any franchise I like. I had a discussion with a friend, Splinter Cell fan, about Kojima. He said, watch that guy fall apart after Hollywood brainwashed him. He will copy the worst Western values he was... Okay,
2 of those characters are from MGS4. That was like, you know, more than a decade ago.
Is he saying that he used to sexualize women and now he doesn't? Well, and he wishes he did sexualize women? Or is it just the fact that there's women in the games at all?
Yeah.
It's the fact that there's women in the games at all?
That's usually what it is, you know? Actually, no, it's usually if there's ugly women in games. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, they got to be hot. Otherwise, it's woke.
I think these people are mad that the women aren't sexualized enough like they used to be. I mean... Times are different now.
Yeah.
But also, graphics are different now. So, like, you can make a real woman in a game. Like, back then, it was a caricature of what the character was going to be. So, having all of the sexy characteristics was... You would spend your polygons on that. Mm-hmm. But now you can just make an actual woman. So, why am I justifying this? Why do I give a shit?
Sometimes it's good to understand the mind of a crazy person. Mm-hmm. Now is not one of those times.
Tony, what's Tony Hawk doing?
This is a follow-up on last week. We weren't sure if they were going to change Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 in the upcoming re-release. Turns out they are. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 was officially announced earlier this week, and while it looks to be a great remake of some popular PS2 era games, one big change involving the time challenges in 4 might be a deal breaker for some. Kotaku was able to confirm with Activision that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 will not include the original career mode seen in the original version of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 on the PlayStation 2. Instead, like in the first 3 games, each Tony Hawk 4 level will feature a list of challenges to complete within a 2-minute run. This is not how it worked in the original version of the game. That game let players skate around levels freely and find challenges to complete. While many of these challenges did have timers, between those challenges, players were able to free skate, explore, and collect money. There will still be a free skate option in the Tony Hawk 4 levels, letting you freely skate around and explore, but you won't be able to complete level challenges in that mode. For some players, this is a deal breaker, with some complaints stating that this game is really just a Tony Hawk 3 remake with levels from 4 added in as a bonus.
That's what we speculated.
That's what we speculated.
That's like pretty much exactly what we thought was going to happen.
There was still like the air of like maybe there's just a misstep. Maybe they will like actually do a proper Tony Hawk 4 remake. No, they're just gonna do. It's just Tony Hawk 3 with Tony Hawk 4 levels added in. That
sucks a lot.
Yeah, because like it was more than just the fact that it was free skate and you selected your objectives individually. Because a lot of those objectives were based on the fact that you were only focusing on that objective, because some of the timers for those objectives were longer than 2 minutes. Some of them take the span of the entire map, and you have to like complete a race or get specific challenges in specific spots. It didn't lend itself to the constrained 2-minute time limit that the previous games did.
Do you think this is going to break some of the missions?
Yeah, I think some of the missions won't even be in the game because of this.
Interesting. So, I mean, so is it just one game and it just has the levels of 3 and 4 in it? Or do you have to pick when you start the game? Do you have to pick Tony Hawk 3 or 4?
Did you play the first?
No.
So the way it worked in the first re-release was you boot up the game and you pick. Do you want to play the Tony Hawk 1 levels or do you want to play the Tony Hawk 2 levels? And then you just run through those levels specifically.
Okay. Yeah. So you'd imagine this would be the same.
Yeah, I'd imagine this would be very similar.
Okay.
But I mean, hopefully like they can like they see the outcry of it and they patch it and like do a new version, because they were able to like patch and reformat the first game in certain ways.
Yeah, this could be a patch that comes way later.
Yeah.
But this sounds like a lot of development. This sounds like a lazy thing.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because, you know, I mean, I don't know if they're, well, we're jumping the gun here a little bit. If they do Underground next, because that would be the next one, Underground 1 and 2, like those also have the same format, but those will also have like in-depth story modes. So,
and you need BAM for those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Father Knight says Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 was hated because of the open world.
But that format was then later used in like the later games like Underground and American Wasteland and whatnot. Yeah. I think 4 was hated because it was difficult unnecessarily, you know?
Last thing, Forza Horizon 5 on PS5 requires a Microsoft account.
Forza Horizon 5 on PS5 requires a Microsoft account. Confirmation comes via an FAQ posted to the Forza support website. Yes, in addition to a PSN account, you will need to link a Microsoft account in order to play Forza Horizon 5 on PS5. This process begins the first time you start up the game on your console.
That is annoying.
This policy is keeping with other Xbox games released on Sony's console, including Minecraft, Grounded, and Sea of Thieves. However, it has caused a degree of controversy among some. Does It Play, which works to ensure games and hardware remain accessible now and always, tweeted to say the news basically kills preservation for the PS5 version of Forza Horizon 5. That statement taps into a concern that Forza Horizon 5 may become unplayable even to those who bought it at some point in the future if Microsoft discontinues its account linking process without updating the game to be playable without a Microsoft account. There's also concern that Forza Horizon 5 on PS5 will become unplayable if players lose access to their linked Microsoft account for whatever reason. Adding to this concern is the fact that Microsoft will release Forza Horizon 5 on PS5 digitally and has no plans for a physical version of the game. More bad news, according to the FAQ, Forza Horizon 5 for PS5 does not carry over save files from Xbox or PC. Microsoft pointed out that this is also the same behavior between Xbox and Steam versions of the game, where the game files are separate and are not synchronized.
Ooh, that's annoying.
You can publish user-generated content on one platform and download it to play on another. However, you won't be able to edit it unless you're playing on the save profile it was originally created on. Some online statistics, such as your leaderboard scores, are synchronized if you log into the game using the same Microsoft account, the company says.
That's really annoying.
Yeah.
It's like barely any functionality for your Microsoft account. So why even bother making
That's the
it
thing, like,
necessary?
if it was like save syncing and like certain data syncing, like I can understand that, but the fact that like you don't really get any benefit to logging into a Microsoft account other than the fact that Microsoft knows you're playing the game, like why do that? It's the same reason why people hate logging into PSN accounts to play the games on Steam. There's no reason to log into an extra account on your game system.
Yeah. I mean, they could be seeing the value in releasing their games for PlayStation because they can collect data. They can they can force people into making an account that wouldn't otherwise have made an account. And for some reason, these companies see a lot of value in just having people make an account.
Yeah, because they can say like, oh, we have X amount of users and like, oh, it's growing month over month. But like, if we're being realistic, like the most valuable aspect of that is the data collection, and the game's an online game. You can just collect the data that way.
Yeah. So that's really unfortunate because you're playing it on PlayStation because you don't have an Xbox. So why would you want to make anybody forcing you to make an account? Ubisoft does it sometimes.
Yes.
They force you to make a Ubisoft account to play their fucking game on a console, which is insane. EA does it.
Activision with Call of Duty.
Yeah, so a lot of companies. It's not just Microsoft, but it's particularly egregious for Microsoft because they're new to this, putting their game on other console, but also because they're usually not this terrible. They usually are more open to people playing their games on other platforms. So here's the one little caveat to playing your Forza Horizon 5 on a different console.
Weak sauce.
Weak. That's the news.
Yep.
Tweet of the week. Tweet of the week. Tweet of the week.
Oh wait, I'm supposed to do that. Tweet of the week. Tweet of the week. Tweet of the week.
He does it better.
Yeah.
This is from DW News. Win or Lose introduces the first openly Christian Disney character in 20 years after canceling transgender storyline. I didn't know that second part.
Yeah.
And this is a quote tweet that says, "Excuse me, aren't we forgetting about someone?" And it's the Pope from Cars. I think he was pretty open. Well, he's a little closed.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, because he's in the Pope mobile. He's got to be protected.
He's inside of another car.
Yeah.
Is this sex?
I'm not. The Cars universe makes no sense to me. So I'm not. Like, if you think about the Cars universe for more than a second, your brain snaps in half.
Yep.
Because it's not. Nothing makes sense about how that works. So best not to think about it.
Anyway. Oh, we're talking to you guys now.
Yes. Let's start with people who have comments on last week's Wulff Den podcast over on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Wulff Den podcast.
AJ says, for the record, I like Pokemon, but I think the gameplay is dated and have been complaining about it for years. The world keeps me invested. I definitely let you know if the gameplay became worthy of the world. I'll say they have been trying to move in the right direction. They just needed to actually learn how to develop video games that aren't direct iterations of a 30-year-old Game Boy game. It is a franchise that needed a natural progression, and they somewhere along the way just stopped progressing.
Yeah, I mean,
it was around the 3DS. Well, you know what? It's a transition from 3D from portable to home console. Just completely fell on its face.
I mean, you look at like how many 2D side scrollers has Mario made over like the 40 years.
People were starting to get upset with those too.
Yeah, but then like Wonder came out and people are like excited for Wonder again. You know, I think there's ways to do the same game over and over again, but find like new and interesting ways to experience it. And for Pokemon specifically, they haven't cracked that yet. So maybe a top-down redo is in order for the main Pokemon series. You know, find a way to keep the core and like the essentials and just do it in a new way.
I hope they're capable of it. We don't know what the next mainline game is.
Yeah.
We got ZA, but that's it.
Yeah.
Mandrew, thanks. Mandrew, from last week's Wulff Den podcast. There shouldn't be a Pokemon buffer. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. If it looks bad, it better be a very distinct artistic choice, which you could make the argument for Arceus. I wouldn't, but not any other game. Smaller companies that don't have all the money in the world make more interesting and better looking / running games, even if similar genres. I agree. I don't know what the Pokemon buffer is. I think is that referring to we know the game will be bad, so we're coming in with an expectation that it's bad.
See, I took it as
the Pokemon buffer, like they need to take a year off.
I took it as we cut them some slack because we expect Pokemon to like look a certain way,
be bad.
Yeah. So I mean, I understand like going for like a simplistic like art style, but like. A lot
it can look good.
Yeah,
and have a simplistic art.
Yeah,
style.
like a lot of like Square Enix games have a similar art style, and they don't look like bargain bin games. You know.
Yeah.
So it's possible they're just not doing it.
Yeah, there is no excuse.
Yeah.
It's an excuse we're making, but it's not. It's not going to get them 10 out of 10. You know.
Yeah.
Matthew J. Tucker says, "Dear Mrs. Wulff, mother of Bob. Could you please tell your boys not to use so much cursing in their videos? Fuck you." She texted me.
She tells us all the time to stop cursing. Like
she texted me on Friday at 10 in the morning and said, "Stop cursing emoji." And then the very next day, she said, "Ditto." And then the same. What happened? I don't even know where I cursed.
Like you didn't post a video last week.
Well, I posted one on the Bob Wulff channel.
Did you curse in that?
I definitely did. But I think I said shit, which, isn't the bad one.
Our mother's favorite song is Creep by Radiohead, but not Radiohead's version. The Postmodern Jukebox cover of Creep. And the first time she heard the Radiohead version, she realized that they say the F word in it, and she was scandalized by it. Like she clutched her pearls and went, "Oh my!" Actually, that's not true. Her favorite song is Smooth by Santana and Rob Thomas.
Yes.
But her second favorite song is Creep by Postmodern Jukebox.
Steenar says, "I was so proud of my nephew when I saw him the other day. He was super excited to show me the game he's been playing a ton lately. The game, Excitebike 64 on Nintendo Switch Online. Some of the kids are all right."
Nice.
You never know what they're going to latch on to.
I took my daughter to a birthday party over the weekend. It was at an arcade, and we played some arcade games. We played, I forgot the name of it, but there was a motorcycle game, the one where you actually sit on a motorcycle. Yeah. She enjoyed that. There was the Halo arcade game, so she played her first Halo, everybody.
Okay.
And then there was like the Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles arcade game. It's very similar to like your traditional beat 'em ups.
And it has a 4-player, right?
Yeah. So she was playing as Michelangelo, but I thought I was looking at the screen and thought she was Donatello. So I was following the wrong kid around on the screen. I thought she was doing great. So, but I think she's getting the hang of it. Right now, she just likes watching me play Spider-Man 2, but not like do the stuff you're supposed to do, just jump in the water and have Spider-Man swim.
Can't do that in the first one.
Yeah, no.
Maybe that's why she's excited about it. Crisis Wax. When they started the trailer for Champions, I was so excited because I thought we were finally getting the remakes. Yeah, I know, man. That the Pokemon Champions trailer was a bait.
Yeah,
that was fucked up. I didn't like that. They've done that before though. They've started trailers off with like kids playing Game Boys. Yeah. And I'm getting sick of it. Anyway, we're in the chats now.
Yeah.
Hello, Bob and Will. Please make more flannels. No. I'm sorry. They were a huge pain in the ass to me. I think I've decided that everything that's on the Wulff Den apparel site is just limited. When it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
And we'll make another version of it eventually. What else? A year or so ago, I asked for Will to make a video and Wulff Den coffee cups. I got the cups. Ignore that.
Maybe.
H3, thank you for gifting 5 subs. That means he gifted 5 subs.
Thank you.
So you're saying I'll get a new flannel in a year? No, I mean, I'm not against making a new flannel, but it won't be the same flannel. It'll be a different thing if it even happens. They were a pain in the ass to make, and honestly, didn't sell all that well. People bought them, but it took a while.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say they didn't sell well because we did sell out, so that must be well. Just got the big XL mouse pad for my office desk, and it bangs. Good work. Thank you so. Oh my god, thank you. Will the Switch 2 have Tomodachi 2?
I don't know.
Does the Switch 1 have Tomodachi Life?
Yeah, it's Tomodachi Life, yeah.
Okay.
Right?
I don't.
Or was that a 3DS game?
It was a 3DS game, but did they move it?
No, I guess not.
We got Miitopia?
It's hard to keep up. Yeah, Utopia was for Switch.
Yeah, we got Miitopia.
And that's a sequel to, or a spiritual successor to Tomodachi Life?
I lost my beanie. I have no idea where it went. I found the flannel in the closet. The buttons have seen better days. Yeah, the buttons faded, or they got they became like gold, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
it's like a patina. But yeah, the beanie. I have the beanie. The beanie's falling apart. We might make more of these.
Hello, there you go.
This is falling apart.
Yeah.
If I do make more of those, I'm only gonna do like a handful. Thoughts on Batman Begins and Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversaries?
Oh yeah, that's this year. Revenge of the Sith, shockingly timely in the year of our Lord 2025. We all owe George Lucas an apology. Man, I forgot Batman Begins is 20 years. God, I'm old. I saw that in a movie theater at a midnight showing with my friends. None of that exists anymore. Friends or midnight showings. Yeah.
They're not both 20 years.
Yeah, they are.
Begins and Revenge of the
Sith. They
Sith?
both came out in 2005.
Oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
I thought Revenge of the Sith was earlier.
No. Yeah. So, I mean, I know they're re-releasing Revenge of the Sith in theaters. I doubt they're going to do that for Batman Begins. Maybe, I don't know. Just watch Batman Begins on HBO Max. This is a good movie. Still holds up.
Will, what do you think of McFarlane potentially losing the DC license?
Oh yeah, so this is big news in the toy community. I know you're behind on the toy news and whatnot.
Right.
So it was announced that the DC toy action figure license is moving back to Mattel for the first time since 2019. I know a lot of people are like, scared because Mattel, especially towards the end, didn't make some good DC figures, and McFarlane has been like firing on all cylinders making figures. I don't care. McFarlane made some really good toys. I have a lot of them. McFarlane also made some really bad toys with a lot of really weird decisions. Like they would say a figure was from one particular comic when it clearly was not. It was from a different storyline. The proportions were all wrong. I have Robins who are taller than some of my Batmans. Like things like that. I have a Superman figure with hands that are like the size of two hands. So I think Mattel getting the license back isn't a problem because Mattel of today is not the same company as they were back then. Technology changes, mentalities change. The fact that they made He-Man a viable toy line again in the 21st century says all you need to know. There are WWE toys, not that I collect them, but like I do think from afar they're a really good toy line. So I'm not worried of what Mattel is going to do with the license. If anything, I'm interested to see what McFarlane does in the last year and a half that he has the license for. And I'm sure it's just going to lead to that, like McFarlane's company just trying to find new ways to break into the mainstream, because like that was their big mainstream toy line and now they've lost it. So
Edward Bova, Bob, you might want to check this article out. Every British swear word has been officially ranked in the order of offensiveness. So we're just going to go right to number one.
Yeah. Mild, medium, strongest.
There's a lot of strongest.
Yeah.
Wanker?
Really?
That's so tame.
Yeah.
Whore,
Slag.
jizz, slapper, bonk.
Wait. Because if you look
Oh
up,
no, these are mild. Words rated strong. Strongest. Oh, strongest. Cunt, fuck, and motherfucker.
I mean, that's like over here.
Yeah, it's the same.
Words rated as mild. Wait, go down a little bit. Words rated as mild were thought to be okay to use around children, whereas medium words were seen to be most potentially unacceptable before 9 p.m. The vast majority of the strong words should definitely be saved for after 9 p.m. For sexual insults, most words were rated as strong. The only medium or mild rated sex words were bonk, shag, slapper, and tart.
Do not hit me with the nonce until I've had my coffee. Okay.
You're such a prick teaser.
You know what? You're a jizz. All right. Hands the size of hands, man. I don't get that.
There's one
toys.
McFarlane. All right, so this is a good example. McFarlane Toys. They have a Superman. It's labeled Superman Classic, right? It's supposed to look like a Silver Age or like Golden Age Superman figure. The problem is his belt is like a modern belt because it's got the Superman logo on it. That's not classic Superman. That's a modern Superman look. And more egregiously, the hands are gigantic. They look like boxing glove hands. They're not in proportion with the rest of the body. And he thought that was acceptable to sell. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, again, the Nightfall Batman, maybe the best Batman figure ever made. But like, every once in a while, you get a bad toy out of McFarlane. You're going to get bad toys out of Mattel, but you're also going to get good toys out of Mattel. So like, everybody calm down. Just start your collection over again. That's what you do anyway.
You mentioned your play date earlier in the stream. Would you still recommend picking one up? I don't know that I ever did recommend picking it up. It's cool and it's fun to like mess around with, but it's not like long. There's not a lot of stuff to fuck around with.
Yeah, that's
It's a good thing to mess around with for like a little bit, but it's not like a replacement for like a Game Boy.
Yeah, it's definitely like there's like niche and then there's like that's like really niche, you know?
Yeah, it's hard to recommend. Just stay away from the strong and strongest words. I say fuck a lot.
Look, this is America, baby.
Yeah.
And we can say whatever we want.
Yeah.
So as long as it's not disparaging to certain political parties who are currently in power. But besides that,
Or our mother. And I might get a text. Yeah. I might just get a text from our mother. So
Teslas are good cars.
good. You should try
Good
it.
cars. They don't blow up.
I forgot to thank War Machine for the 16 months. Hello, War Machine. I think that's it. Thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for chatting with us. As always, the Wulff Den podcast is every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, sharp, on twitch.tv/WulffDen or youtube.com/WulffDen podcast. If you can't make the show for any reason at all, we always put the archive version up over on youtube.com/WulffDen podcast. So you can go and check us out over there on demand wherever you want. If you prefer to listen to us with your ears rather than watch us, you can do that as well because we're also an audio podcast on any and every podcast service such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Audible.com. The list goes on. But no matter where you get this show from, folks, please be sure to subscribe to us, rate us, and review us because that helps us with placement on all these respective platforms. Come on, 2025, the year we make the top 10 gaming website podcasts on iTunes.
Oh, you want to make a push? We can.
We're going to do the push.
You want to
push me, baby?
What are we at? Number 50. This week I will have a video on the MSI Claw. It is the most powerful PC handheld that you can get your hands on by this much, by like a hair. And that'll be on Thursday, and then I'll probably stream as well. Thanks for being here. Say hello to AJ. I'm gonna go fix the other room now. Goodbye.
Bye.